Okay, there's... Okay, Steve, I got to ask you a quick question. You're here at Rotary, baby. I love it. How do you like Rotary?
I love it.
I'm glad you're back.
Thanks. Yeah, I know it's been a while.
Yeah. What brings you back? The coffee?
Scott Goins. Called and said, "Get your here."
Don't forget, this goes out to children.
I'm sorry. Get here, please.
I can bleep you. Yeah, which I will do, because it'll be fun.
All right, welcome everyone. We're going to have Chuck lead us off in the pledge today.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and Scott Ellerbach with invocation.
Bow our heads. Let each of us turn to our source of spiritual strength and pray. May we have the wisdom to know what is right. May we have the compassion to feel what is right. May we have the strength to do what is right. And may we have the character to defend what is right. Amen.
Thanks, Scott. Mary Ann, visiting Rotarians.
Well, welcome everyone. We have one person on the list who's brought a guest, and that would be John B. Donovan. He's got a very special guest who I didn't even recognize when she came in. My apologies.
I run Natalie Berg. We've been together for 10 years.
Your Christmas card shop.
Does anyone have a guest that didn't get on the list? Because John almost forgot to put Natalie on here until I reminded him. Okay, that takes care of me then. All right, thank you. Pat, I borrowed it.
Yep. Thank you. Small crowd today, unfortunately. So. All right, announcements. Steve, guys, can I lead off with you on Interact?
So a quick update on Interact Clubs. I'm pleased to announce that yesterday I was finally able to get a hold of Brother Guy at Waller. So they have suspended all their club activities up until this Friday. They have their first meeting. So they're going to start to get things back. And we're going to meet on Friday to discuss some COVID-friendly projects that they're going to try to do for the remainder of the year. As far as Hempstead, they've been full speed ahead. They're doing instead of since we've canceled our roadside cleanups, they're going to do a campus-wide cleanup tomorrow. Weather permitting, it's supposed to rain, but with a few of the club members, we're going to go out and clean up the campus. They have begun their postcard project for all of the local veterans that are deployed. They sent postcards to all of them. That was their project. And we're working with Tim and myself. They've agreed to sponsor a little library project at Hempstead, one of those portable libraries. They want to expand theirs a little bit bigger to do also mittens and hats and gloves for kids that need them. And so those are the projects that they're doing. But they're full speed ahead. And then I'm hoping next week or in 2 weeks I'll be able to report more on Waller.
Excellent. Thanks, Steve. That Hempstead Interact Club has been outstanding over the years. What would you attribute that to?
Their counselors. They have great leadership there. Excellent leadership.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. A couple quick announcements. Arboretum Cleanup Day is this Saturday. Just a reminder, 9 o'clock. Meet at the the Welcome Center, or the main building there. Done by noon with lunch after for all the volunteers. And then the Overlook project, that ribbon cutting is still on track, right, for the 27th, Thursday? So,
HR Cook is expected to say a few words.
excellent.
All I did was post it.
You mean HR, the man of few words? I say that with love, HR.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Isn't that a Tuesday? Is it the 27th?
27th.
Or sorry, Tuesday. Yeah, sorry. At 4:30. So thanks for correcting me.
Cocktails at 4:40.
Bring your hip flask.
And I bring a roll of quarters for the machine, right?
No, it's free.
It's free. That's good to know.
All right, we got a Rotary citation, gold citation from the district, from Rotary International. Those citations can go out or can be given for many reasons. Our club received it at a club level for last year, for Danita's year, 2019 to 2020. And basically, there's 25 different goal items or tracking items, and you can receive the citation if you complete at least 13 of those. And it covers a broad variety of things. It could be number of volunteering events that we put on, foundation giving, membership, a number of different factors in there. So there are quite a few clubs that get it, but there are an awful lot that don't. So it's a testament to our club for doing a lot of the right things. So that's a gold citation. This came in the mail to me. We've gotten them in prior years. I don't know where they all go in the records. I'm sure there's a record somewhere. I know I can look them up online and see things, but all right. So I am really pleased to go through this next item. So as many of you know, we have different donor levels in the organization. We have Paul Harris Fellows, and I wanted to give you a little bit of information on where the donors have come from, or number of donors. So we have 76 Paul Harris Fellows in this club for our history. There are 4 benefactors, 3 in the Bequest Society. There are 5 major donors. And then in total, there's 83 Rotarian donors and 24 non-Rotarian donors. All-time giving for this club has been $931,000. So, a great number. So.
By the way, I hate to interrupt, they did mention that on how much Dubuque has contributed at the leadership conference last week.
Yeah,
For the district leadership.
yeah, it's outstanding for our club. Absolutely. So with that, I would like to recognize John Donovan today. So John has earned major donor status, which for those of you who are familiar with Paul Harris Fellow, you have Paul Harris Fellow and +1, and for each $1,000 increment. Major donor status is $10,000 in lifetime giving, and we have 5 of those now, including John. So that is an outstanding thing. Congratulations to John. So I'd like to bring Chuck. I would like to bring Chuck and John up. Let's see here. Chuck, if you would do the honors, pin John for me. John gets to retire his +8 pin and get the Paul Harris with the diamond on the top of it for major donor status. Congratulations.
I want to point out to John that this is level 1 and there are 3 to go.
That's right. Don't stop now, John.
Congratulations.
And then we also have this beautiful crystal that has John's name engraved on the side and the Rotary Foundation on the other side.
See that?
I don't know if you can see it in the background.
Isn't that lovely? Wow.
Beautiful little desk award. So I'll give that to you, John. Congratulations, John. Appreciate it. This means a lot to the Rotary International and to the club in general, and so we appreciate John and others. Some remain nameless who've been great donors, but all of you who've given, it's a great thing for Rotary and Rotary International. So would you like to say a few words?
You know, I got started in Rotary with my dad, Binghamton, New York, and I was back there a couple of years ago and happened to be sitting next to somebody and told this person about my dad, and I asked the gentleman what he did, and he was the executive director for the, let's see, what county is it in? Polk is Des Moines. Broome County Council of Churches, which is the exact same role that my dad had. Then it was called Executive Secretary of the Broome County Council of Churches. And so my dad had that a number of years before this gentleman. But I went to the Rotary Club. And that's where I went with my dad a couple of times and continued going in. And then I first joined the Rotary Club in Tacoma, Washington, and then continued it here. So, matter of fact, when I was here consulting with Mercy, I was here for a year and got a 100% attendance banner from my club in Tacoma for going to all the meetings here. So, but Mary Ann keeps saying we're the most fun club, but this club and the other Rotary clubs do so much around the world. And we hear that frequently from where our club members are going and the work that our dollars do. I could not help but continue the tradition that my dad set. So thank you. This is an honor.
If we could get a couple pictures.
Sure.
Yeah. So if someone, or we can do it after. Yeah, we'll do.
We can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to take Keith's.
Yeah, get pictures after. So thank you, John. I think the last one of these we had was major donor recognitions was in 2018 with Dr. Dave Weber. So, all right. So Happy Dollars. Let's move into Happy Dollars and community announcements. A great segue into Happy. Scott.
Oh, here we go.
I have 5 happy dollars. My wife Kathy and I are celebrating our 13th anniversary today.
Excellent.
It's been a really long time for a happy dollar for me with no barbecue season. But non-barbecue related, I have a really big happy dollar. This Friday, I go to Palmer Chiropractic to celebrate the graduation of my daughter, who's finally going to be a doctor in chiropractic. But she called me the other day to tell me that she's going to be the salutatorian of her class of 281. So I'm very proud.
Awesome. Excellent. Others. I'm going to put a happy dollar in for donors like John and others who have done great things for our club. HR?
Since we have Keith here, I'm proud to announce that Dot Dogs is back for another year. Thank you, Joyce. For the rest of this week, their numbers are strong, and they'll be out in the community spending lots of money. So, and on another note, I just received word from my association, the International Association of Venue Managers, that I have achieved the highest level you can get in our association, a certified venue executive. So I'm a CVE now. So it's HR. You now address me as HRC CVE.
And do I understand? I didn't see it yet. You were in the paper today?
It's Tuesday.
Yeah. There was a time in some clubs that if you showed up in the paper, you had to pay a penalty fee.
Thankfully not a tradition in this.
Right.
Merciful. Yes, here you go, Joyce. Oh, I love your bracelet.
Yes, this is a Linda Olson bracelet. This was not what I was happy about, but I was happy when I did it too.
I recognized it.
Yeah, Charlie and I have been gone. I'm sure you missed us terribly. We were in upstate New York for about 3 weeks, where we were staying at the old family camp that belongs to Charlie and his sisters. We had green trees when we arrived, and we had a beautiful fall there, and it's at the foothills of the Adirondacks. So where? Well, we're north of Utica, about 15 or 20 minutes. And so anyway, and on that trip, we took the kitty cat that you all remember that we got, and I held the kitty cat on my lap in her carrying case all the way from freaking Iowa to upstate New York. And but even better than that was her portable litter potty under my feet. And any of those of you who've raised babies and changed diapers, kitty cats have a ripe aroma. And it's a challenge, but we enjoyed her an awfully lot. And Charlie had a toy waiting on him when he got there, and he had purchased a side-by-side Kawasaki mule. So that's an ATV, and he has a winch on it, and he got to carried his chainsaw up there, and he got his winch out, and he was, as we would say in Arkansas, in hog heaven. So I think that's enough. Charlie, you want to add anything?
Got a quart and a half of maple cut, split, and stacked.
And Joyce, I'm glad you shared part of that story after lunch was served. Thank you, Joyce. So Scott, we'll bring you up. Mr. Lucky Man, we'll bring you up to introduce our speaker. Is that like 5 weeks in a row almost?
It's 5 out of 6.
5 out of 6. That's impressive.
All right, it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Keith Ray. He serves as president and CEO of Travel Dubuque. His responsibilities include the program development and implementation. He has been involved with the Field of Dreams, its world's famous ghost players, and the National Farm Toy Museum in Dyersville. Ray has extensive experience with event and coordination in the U.S. and across the world. Some of these would include the Ghost Players Tours, America's Rivers Festival, Team of Dreams, Dubuque Grand Excursion, Ragbri, and just to name a few. Currently, Ray serves on the boards of the Upper Midwest Convention and Visitors Bureau, Tourism Federation of Iowa, Iowa Destination Marketing Alliance, and Tri-State Tourism, as well as many other organizations across the state of Iowa and the Dubuque area. Please welcome Keith.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me? Do I need this for?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for allowing me to be here today. It's always a pleasure for me to come up here. I think it's been a couple of years since the last time I presented at Rotary, but as always, I want to thank you for what you do for the entire Dubuque region. Obviously, when you look at the list of the Paul Harris Fellows, and John, congratulations on your award, your honor. I know from working with you for a number of years how dedicated you are to any organization or really just a purpose that you put your whole soul to, so congratulations. So it is very nice to see a lot of people that I've worked with throughout the year here today. I typically, I wish, when I walked in, HR said I was going to have good news. I don't know, this is 2020, right? But it's kind of interesting because I had in January of this year, had the opportunity to speak at the Forecast Luncheon that the Chamber hosts every year at the River Museum. This is the fourth time that I presented. And I was I was actually the last presenter, and I was extremely excited because we really looked at 2020 as being the best year ever in Dubuque and the tri-state area with everything that was going on across the board in our industry. Obviously, the Major League Baseball game at the field was kind of the cherry on top, but when you looked at everything else, we had Iowa's Rye. I was going to, start at on the western part of the city and go west. All the different meetings, all the different events between what HR had and the two casinos and the everything. It was going to be just a banner year, and we were incredibly excited. And then middle of March hit, and our whole world as we know it changed dramatically. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, give you a little bit of a reference in regards to what our numbers, as I have spoken different times to this club and various clubs throughout the community and throughout the entire area. Dubuque is a very vibrant destination. We're very lucky where we're located in Dubuque County, our proximity to southwest Wisconsin, northwest Illinois, and really, our driving distance from all these major metropolitan markets. We're easy for people to jump in from Chicago, jump in their vehicle, Milwaukee, different areas like that, and just drive and come to our location. And that is helping us out a lot during this pandemic, in all honesty. If we were a fly destination, I think our numbers would be dramatically even lower than what they are. So, but we're going to start here and
right.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Give me our mission statement. Travel Dubuque, our mission statement is leading tourism destination promotion and development to enhance and expand the Dubuque area experience. I've been blessed through the years working with very dedicated professionals throughout the entire area. When you look at our hotels, our attractions, our gaming, our venues, everything, just a dedicated group of individuals and people, both private and public, that make Dubuque and the Tri-State area once again a very special place to come to. I'm also blessed to work with a very talented staff. I think one of the things that in my over 30 years of being in this industry, probably one of the best things that I have the ability to do is surround myself by very talented people. They make me, they make my organizations, and they make the entire area look very good. And I can't say enough about the dedication and commitment and talent that group has on a daily basis, even through this pandemic. They're in there working, they're in there putting together ideas on what we can do and to promote. And in all honesty, during this pandemic, a lot of what I felt I was doing, both here locally and throughout the state, because I'm also the chair this year of the Iowa Destination Marketing Alliance. That's a group of CDBs, which we are DMOs now, and chambers that deal with tourism throughout the entire state. There's 32 different communities that are part of that. I'm the chair of that. And when this all hit, when everything hit in mid-March, I had a couple of them reach out to me and said, can we have a Zoom call just to talk? Because everybody was pretty much really on the ledge, because we didn't know, had no idea. So we facilitated a weekly Zoom call with that group, and it really became almost a therapy session at the beginning. It then evolved into different strategies, different things that groups could apply for from the state and federal and such, and different good practices of what's going on. Now we cut that back from every week to every 2 weeks, but we're still doing that. And then we have our other meetings and that such too, but it really has been very important. And I know individuals in this room right now that are still in the industry, in the travel industry, and others in your businesses as a whole, you have to be able to talk to one another, get good ideas, and with this pandemic, really to, just know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and what is the best way to get there. 2019 in numbers, typically like I mentioned, we're rolling, and you can see this is the economic impact numbers that are provided to us by the state of Iowa each year. They put this together, get it out to all the counties. These numbers have dramatically increased year over year for Dubuque. We continue to be about 5th in the state. When you look at the major metropolitans, you look at Polk County, you look at Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, that corridor, Quad Cities, we're behind them, but we're making progress. We're making, my goal before I leave this organization, I want to get in the top 4, which would be awesome. I was hoping this year, with everything that we potentially had on tap, we were going to do that, but there's 2021, but you can see the numbers. I think it's extremely, when you look at the number of people that are employed, the number of convention delegates, just all of that, it's extremely impressive. And like I mentioned, each year, those numbers continue to climb. Well, until this year. Our visitors, you can see our heat map here. Taylor Cummings, our director of marketing, does an amazing job for us. She puts this together. I mean, historically, this is our strength. This is where people are coming from. And when you look at that I-380 corridor, from Cedar Rapids to Iowa City, Coralville, Waterloo, Chicago, Madison, Omaha. Omaha really is one that is kind of came up over the last 3 to 4 years. 10 years ago, Omaha, we were not, we did not consider that a strength, a destination for us. It is now. That Polk County, Ames, that Iowa, that area, continues to evolve. A lot of people are coming this way and such. So, but those are New York and LA. That's new for this year. Yeah, and that was specifically because of that MLB game. We got a tremendous amount of hits, a lot of requests for information that just when that Major League Baseball got announced and such. So when you look at it, compare, 2009 and 2019, and once again, like I said, you look at the growth that we have seen, and I just can't reiterate that enough. When we talk about this, everybody talks about how does Dubuque, how do they do it? How has it, continued to evolve over the years? And it's such an amazing, for me, just kind of being involved with it for a long time, but just seeing that partnership between public and private. Because you've got to have the public entity, the public, like your city council, your the city hall, that has to support this. They have to be behind this. But like I tell people, you've got to have those private individuals, organizations that are willing to financially invest. Dubuque and Dubuque County has seen that through the years. You look at just the amount of expenditures, and that is, that doesn't reflect what's being spent here with individuals or organizations investing in the community, but these are just how the return on this. It's significant. And we've got a blip on the radar in 2020. Obviously, I come here next year, 2020 is not going to look like this. But when I come back in 21 and 22, we're going to see it jump right back up. So. And occupancy, I think this is a good parameter. Steve knows this. When you look at these numbers, and every year we continued last year, we set a record for over all the entire year for our average occupancy, which is over just about 62. I think 62.5% was the highest we've ever been. So you look at these numbers, we were riding great in 2020 in January, February, mid-March, better than we've ever been. These numbers are not reflected on here, but I'll just tell you that. Then we hit mid-March. Okay, look at where we typically are during that time frame. All right, well, we're not. We were, when everything hit at the end of March, Sarah Hanton, who's my Vice President of Operations, who is an extremely talented lady, has been with myself and this organization since 2003, and we started to put together, readjust our budget for the remainder of last fiscal year, looking at this fiscal year that we're in right now. We are funded by 80% of our budget comes from hotel motel tax, okay? And we are very lucky with our organization because the agreement that was created back in the mid-1980s with the city of Dubuque, that's all money that they've already gotten. So that hotel motel tax that they have collected and they have it. So we're assured that we're going to get that money. Now, my peers, like in Des Moines or Iowa City, in those areas, so that fourth quarter of fiscal year, which would have been April, May, and June, that would be the money like a Des Moines would get in first quarter of this fiscal year. And there was nothing. He had no time to make adjustments. I have a year to make adjustments to my budget. They had nothing. So we're very lucky with that. But these hotels, you can see where we're at right now. Typically this is our strength, guys. It's July, August, September, and October. It's where we rock it in regards to the hotel. People coming in, whether or not, wherever they're at. This is where we are incredibly strong. Every once in a while, June, depending on how many conventions we get and stuff like that. But typically it's these areas here. We had a good August. August was not quite to what that is, but August was good. But our September numbers were typically we're usually about around that 73. This year we're about at 48 to 49%. So we're about 20 some percentage off on occupancy, and that's affecting everyone across the board. If it's an attraction, if it's the casinos. Obviously the hotels, the restaurants, everything. Where we have seen where people are attending is outdoor events. Not events, excuse me, outdoor activities. Field of Dreams has had a record year. They've been modeled. Really? Yeah, a record year. People coming, you would not believe it. The field now, I'm lucky enough I live about half a mile from Field of Dreams. I think most of you know my history with that for a long time. Every single night since about probably the first week in June, every single night the lights on the field are on. They rent the house out now. You can rent the house out, and then you get the ability to turn the lights on. It's been unreal. Even last night, it wasn't the nicest out last night. I came home about 7 o'clock. I looked, lights were on. Amazing. It's just so they have done incredibly well this season. Zypers out here, south going out towards Bellevue, record year. They can't park people because they're getting so many people coming there. The pumpkin patches, all of that. Brian Preston is head of our Dubuque County Conservation. They oversee our parks and that stuff. They've had by far and away the busiest year they've ever had in their parks and trails and everything like that. Outdoor activities. We're very lucky, the group that oversees the mountain biking, you know, I don't know if you guys have had them here to talk, but it might be a good idea to have them. They're Timber. Those guys are incredibly dedicated individuals, and they just opened up out of the proving grounds out by John Deere. Unreal the amount of people that have come from all over the Midwest to be on that. You know, it's just another thing that we just met this morning with my marketing team that we're going to promote, we're going to push out there. Obviously we work with them, but get it out there even more to get these individuals to come in, because it's something that we're unique, makes us unique, and we're going to take advantage of it. So, Leisure Traveler, I'll run through this real quick. This is typically who we're, you know, that's our bread and butter, honestly. This is a group, you know, that comes to Dubuque, the tri-state area, that is going to stay in the properties, in the hotels, 2 to 3 days, going to go to the field, they're going to go to the River Museum, they're going to go to Mines of Spain, do all this stuff, go on a river cruise or whatever and such. These are the markets where we focus. That's the age group that we market to. So, and you can see how we do it. And but this is something Taylor has listed what our key efforts, what we typically do, and this is what we're doing right now with COVID-19, as you can see. You know, the different things. I mean, this is what they're looking at, you know, and they're promoting outdoor activities. You know, who's open, what restrictions are put in place, and such. We get those questions a lot from guests. Our sales effort, Julie Kronlag is our Vice President of Sales, been with me for a long time. Probably one of the, if not the, one of the top sales individuals in the entire Midwest. Hear that repeatedly, you know, from groups, whether or not it's meeting planners or group tour operators, whatever. Julie, every time will go above and beyond to really showcase Dubuque and the tri-state area, and I just am so grateful once again for these individuals that work with me. But you can see, I mean, you talk about a segment of the industry that's been decimated is this, the convention side of it, because people are not traveling. You know, then everything, as you know, a lot of you that are, you know, are working, the Zoom meetings, the go-to meetings have taken over in regards to any. We have done one virtual conference, which we had about probably 30 attendees, which were socially distanced. Everything else was done online, which they had about another 90. And it went well. You know, I hope that's not going to be the future, because obviously we want those guests coming to Dubuque to stay here and you know, and go out and everything like that. But you know, we are making adjustments as we go forward. So yeah, you can see once again, you know, typically what we're doing and what the COVID efforts are and such. So we'll see. You know, with that, you know, like everything I talked about today in HR was in the paper today, and had a great quote, which I agree. Everyone I've talked to in the industry, HR mentioned is looking like the, you know, third to fourth quarter of 2021. That's everything, the same thing we're hearing too. You know, meetings, events, group tours, everything like that is, you know, it's going to be, you know, we're looking at that, you know, potentially midsummer for next year to into the fall. The biggest thing, guys, is we've got to get consumer confidence back up. I mean, that's just, it's going to take a little while to get that, but you know, we'll see what happens. We're optimistic because we have to be. So this is an example of lost businesses. I had Julie put this together, just kind of give you an idea of when this hit. This is a type, just some, in regards to you know, what this community, what this difference it made to everybody. And this is one that I feel we work very hard, you know, to get that. Steve knows this. Steve's part of a group. I can't speak enough about our hotels. I gotta be honest with you. In my industry, you know, typically a guy like me doesn't have the best relationship with hotel operators. Just don't. You know, and we are blessed here in Dubuque that we've got a wonderful group of hotel general managers, directors of sales, owners and such, and they work very closely with us to further what we're all trying to do. And we've got a group, Destination Marketing Fee. It's a group of hotels that are part of it. They put funds towards it. And we put funds towards that. That would have been a community-wide event. Would have had over, what was it, Steve? I think it was like 21 or so room night, 2,100 room nights. And we were excited. Julie worked incredibly hard. And then obviously it got, canceled. We're working to try to get them back here. And I think we will. But you can just see the loss just down through those numbers. And that's just a drop in the bucket. Sports and events, I think this is one of the things where we have seen significant growth. I came on board full-time with the CVB in 2007, and the amount of activity, and Joyce, actually, you and I worked, I think the Herster Cup was one of the biggest ones that we got. We went down to, that was a great event we brought up to Dubuque. It was in the winter, and that was one of the big things. We were so excited. And we've done a significant amount since. Just great events that we partnered with, like Julian Dubuque International Film Festival, Torque Fest, Snowcross, or events that we specifically run, like Team of Dreams and other events, the Major League Baseball. But just that type. So when you combine all these aspects, guys, when you combine, our ability from a meeting standpoint with the Grand River Center, and our other partners, with that, you combine the leisure traveler with our, the River Museum and all the other activity, and then you bring this in on top of it with the sports and events like the different concerts that Flags hosts or the Q or Diamond Joe or anybody like that. It makes it for a very dynamic, destination, and that's what Dubuque and the tri-state area is. But once again, this is all dependent on travel. People have to travel. You have to have that, they have to be able to feel safe, and they have to be able to go out and do that. Well, you're in the situation we're in right now, that takes it away. So I'll run through this real quick, but this is just an example of some of the stuff that was supposed to happen and then got canceled because of, Dueling Dogs, we rescheduled that. That went off the end of July at Flags. But everything else, and got canceled. So Torque Festival went in July too. That was at the fairgrounds. And then this is with our Welcome Center, with Becky runs across the street from our office and does an amazing job. She came back. We furloughed her, and when everything hit, she came back mid-June, and the Welcome Center's been open, and it's amazing the amount of people. Like, she's getting on average about 150 to 175 groups a week coming in there, and they're from all over. It's specifically, the majority of them are from the Chicago area, in all honesty, and Milwaukee and those areas. As Illinois, Wisconsin continues to be more locked down than what we are, those individuals are looking to get out and do something, and they're coming to Dubuque. We're seeing a lot of that on the weekends. Obviously, during the week is slower, but. And just compare, just the number of guests that typically come through the Welcome Center to where we are. So I'm giving you a pretty good picture. I think all of you know how the travel industry has been impacted from COVID, and just that. Riverboats typically in this time of the year, we'd be winding it down now, but we are a mecca for them, and all the people that are in the downtown area going through the River Museum, going through the shops, doing everything like that. Well, we've got the Twilight has been doing their cruises from LeClaire up to Dubuque, but they're probably about, what do you think, Steve, about a third of what they normally are? Yeah. And then, you've got Celebration Bell, which they're typically doing a ton of tours up here. That's the group tour side of it, and Twilight. They're not. And then all the other ones that got, canceled because of COVID. Air travel. I know you guys are all familiar with what's going on with the airport. And I've been asked numerous times over the last 10 days from the media how that affects tourism. And I've told them, we're really not, like I mentioned early on in my presentation today, I don't consider us, we're not a fly destination. We're not, we're a drive destination for the leisure traveler, but we are a fly destination for meetings. We are a fly destination for events and such. So you take that away, it puts us in an even a more difficult situation to be able to get those individuals. MLB game, as you know, that one was hard because we have worked incredibly hard on that event, and we're working incredibly hard with it all the way up to, they made the announcement at 3:30 that afternoon. I was actually out at the field transplanting corn with my nephews and that stuff, and then they came out and said that the game was being called. We knew there wasn't going to be fans there because it's the nature of what's going on, but we were really excited about just the ability to get that exposure, and actually have something positive happen. But we're really, working very hard. Actually, I was on a Zoom meeting this morning for 2021, and we're keeping our fingers crossed on that. So, one thing, good news is working with our partners, our community partners. One thing we have done, we're able to get colorblind viewfinders, install that up at Eagle Point Park. So if I'm colorblind, I can't see this amazing fall foliage, I can go up there now. I can look in that, and I can see the beauty of those hillsides and such. So, but really, it's a positive thing, and I really want to thank our partners, the groups that have helped us make this happen. So is installed now up at Eagle Point, and we're thrilled with that. There's a lot of other things that we've done with those partners and such. So, looking ahead to 2021. Basically, like I mentioned, the modified and socially distanced events, how that looks, what it looks like, the hybrid meeting and conferences, marketing outdoor spaces, safety, and then just the online presence for Welcome Center. Keeping our fingers crossed again. Hopefully, JDEF's going to be back in that slot, and then the Beyond the Game. That's the festival that we created, working with our partners in the county, all around that MLB game. And we've got some other really, good things that we're working on as we go forward. And I think that's a key thing, everyone, is we're going to continue, we are continuing to work very hard to market and promote Dubuque and come up with unique things. And we're not going to let this, it's just a setback, but we as a community, as an area, like everyone, is going to come through this, and we'll be stronger at the end. So. Any questions anyone has at this point? I know it kind of went a little long, but...
I have a question.
Sure.
One of the things that I've noticed here in Dubuque is we've got a lot of wonderful golf courses, and they've been busy. I've talked to the pros, they've had the best year they've ever had.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, where are these people coming from? It was all locals.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. The golf courses have done it extremely well. Outdoor activity, once again, you can't find a kayak. You can't find a canoe, you can't find a bike because everything, is sold out. People, are outdoors doing these activities and such. So, and we're very lucky here locally to have those opportunities that people can do that. So yeah, it's something we market. Charlie?
Yeah, you piqued my curiosity. Why don't hotel managers usually get along with the CVV?
Well, it's a matter of, that's a good question. I don't see.
I'll change the subject. What about Viking River Cruise?
Viking River Cruises, that's a great, we're incredibly excited about that. 2022, and their upper Midwest, they sold out.
Oh.
Yeah, they sold out. City manager and I talked late yesterday afternoon, and he told me, and I'd known that because they were in communication with us too, and yeah, they're extremely excited. I mean, this area, this whole entire area is very popular for those cruises, and yeah, they're sold out. So we're hoping, that's going to go over like gangbusters, and they're going to continue to grow, put more boats, on the water and such. And because in their scenario that I was privy to, they would have from basically beginning of July till mid-October, Steve, end of October. I think they'd have a boat in port every day of the week. That would bring an additional almost 40,000 people to our area. The cool thing about that, every one of those people gets a ticket to the River Museum, and they're paid in advance. So imagine the River Museum, because you talk about a destination right now. We talk about the fall. Once we get through, the leisure, the River Museum lives on school groups. And then on the people coming from the riverboats and all that stuff. Well, this fall there's none of that, So imagine, we can bring in those additional 40,000 people for them. I mean, that's just huge. So, yeah, that's keep it. You know, that's going to happen. You know, so good things they're coming. You know, we just have to, you know, keep going and do what we do. So, other questions anyone has?
Any other questions?
Is the city ready for the riverboat?
They're going to be. Yeah, it's a great question. The city. It's interesting because when Viking came to us initially, probably 4 years ago, you know, their requirements docking was about $4 to $5 million, and then they revised that and they came back, and basically what they're looking at, if you're familiar, I know probably a lot of you are, a spud barge. Basically, what they're going to be, you know, so the city doesn't have to build an actual, you know, intense docking for them. It's more of a floating spud barge that they bring in at that time frame, and then when it's be a nice one, obviously. But then they take it out, and then they bring it back and such. So it's a dramatic, you know, savings on costs and everything. And the cool thing is if Viking isn't in port during that time, all their riverboats can use it. So it really, because the riverboats, excursion boats, until we got to 2020, they continue to expand every year and get bigger. We got more in port, and we need more room down along that harbor area where American Trust Plaza is. So.
All right, before we adjourn, just want to remind everybody who's on the speaker committee, there is a meeting afterwards. And if you have speaker ideas, you can pass those along to the committee. So thanks and have a great week.
Can we do it?